welcome back. The government announced this week that the U.S. created only about 266,000 jobs in April. Wah, wah. That is far below the 1 million jobs Wall Street had predicted. So what does it mean? Let's discuss with Dr. Anne Marie Ward. She's a former congressional candidate from Arizona. We're also joined by political commentator Benji Irby. Good morning to both of you. Dr. Ward, I want to go to you first on this. Republicans say it shows that American workers don't want to leave because COVID unemployment pays more than some of these entry-level jobs. What do you say?
That's absolutely correct, Carl. This is not some big mystery of what happened. Why did the economy suddenly slump? Why did we not see that million number come through? These policies that came through, you cannot pay people to stay at home and then expect them to go back to work. Right. This is just simply counterintuitive. So what President Biden and the Democrats have done have created policies that are damaging our nation even further. We have seen women not going back to work because schools are closed. They're at home with their kids, right? You're paying people not to go back to work. You have put in place these draconian measures that have limited and literally stamped out hundreds of small businesses. This simply doesn't work. And the further that they steamroll these policies, the greater the disaster is going to be for our economy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to me. Now, Benji, what do you make of this whole thing? Because, like, if you own a restaurant, you literally cannot hire people to be your servers and work the restaurant and run the bars and things like that because you get paid more for staying at home.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because people are saying that these job numbers are disappointing, and they're actually not disappointing at all for the Democrats. I mean, this is what they want. I mean, to be able to pay people to stay home is ultimately government control and buying of votes. I mean, if you're paying me more than what unemployment pays me or more than what, my job would pay me, of course I'm going to stay home and take the money and vote for you. Even here in Virginia, as I drive up and down like Highway 17, you have restaurants like, Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King on their little chyrons, like they're begging people like, we'll pay you $15 an hour, $16 an hour, $14 an hour for these jobs. And one of the gas stations down here that does food, or Wawa, which a lot of people are familiar with, Wawa now has a $500 hiring bonus for anybody who would come to work. This is how desperate they are to get people to work. But for the Democrats, it's not disappointing. This is what they want. They want you more dependent on the government, and this is the way to socialism. This is how it starts.
Well, Dr. Ward, it's crazy to me because this whole thing it started off with exactly what Benji said, where they want people to be relying on the government. But the problem is now when these people decide to go back to work, all those restaurants, all the fast food and the Wawas and things like that. I go to Wawa now. I already order my sandwich on an LCD screen. I don't even talk to a person except when they hand me the sandwich. That's going to be the mainstream, and those jobs will be gone forever.
Right. This is long-term damaging, both, as Benji mentioned, when you look at the political scale, because guess what comes next? When people are waiting for their next handout or these numbers aren't good, we, of course, saw President Biden say, well, it's going to take a long time, and now we need to spend even more money. You need to let the government intervene even more and take control and do this and do that. And that is even more damaging. But then, yes, when people start going back to work and we start seeing them come back into the workplace, what's even going to be there? Because as Benji mentioned, that slump is huge. Here in Arizona, we are seeing restaurant employers come forward and say, we'll give you college tuition to come work at our restaurant. I mean, they are desperate.
Yeah. Well, Benji, I want to kind of go into the Republican rift between Liz Cheney and President Trump. It got a lot of headlines this week, and we talked about it earlier on the show. But Democrats are facing huge internal conflicts, too. Joe Manchin is facing also Elizabeth Warren, no surprise there, and Bernie Sanders as well, about Medicare, whether or not they should lower the age to 55. We're already living 10 years longer than what it was designed for, but they want to put it at 55, and Manchin's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. This is going to lead us to a liberal wasteland.
Exactly. It's funny because they're trying to make this like there's a Republican rift. There really isn't. I mean, you just have people like, Mitch McConnell, Mitch Romney, both of men whose names would be much better for them. They started with the B. And you also have Liz Cheney and these other people who are saying that there's a rift, but there's not a rift. The Republican voters, the actual voters they're supposed to represent, the ones that they betray every day, have always had said that they are for Trump. I mean, you look at someone like Mitch McConnell who wouldn't be in office. He was very scared about that guy that was running against him in Kentucky. He almost didn't win that race, but it was the Trump voters who on top of the ticket who actually got him reelected, and Liz Cheney as well. So, I mean, it's really a shame they do this to us. But as far as the Democrats are concerned, I mean, I don't understand why Joe Manchin doesn't just follow also the lead of his people in his state. His state is clearly a red state. So I don't know why he's doing this whole I'm trying to be a Democrat thing, but I guess that brings more fame and more, more accolades to him and it makes him more of a news story, him being the rogue Democrat. But I mean, look at the people of your state, Joe Manchin. I mean, time and time again, you have Jeff Van Drew and other people who come on the other side. It's like, come on over, brother. We'll take you. I mean, you know, speaking to the people of your state, the people of your state are speaking. So, I mean, I don't even understand why he's even trying to do this whole Democrat thing at this point.
Yeah.
Just come on over to the winning team.
Exactly. I say, come over to the team with the W. You know, so Dr. Ward, I want to look at this back and forth, though, with this Democrats, but also, like, is too much being made of the Liz Cheney, Elise Stefanik blow up here, or is it just Democrats trying to inject, oh, look at the Republican Party's imploding?
You know, I firmly believe that it is. We are always going to see a change in the balance of power within the parties. But in reality, we need to look at what is going on at the policy level, most importantly. And we are seeing, as we just mentioned, with Manchin stepping back and saying, whoa, 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 this isn't working. I truly believe this is a time they are trying to deflect, because within their own party, I believe we are going to see a huge fracture very shortly, whether it be just the economic reality of what we saw with these numbers that came out that, hey, guys, economics is not run on emotion. This doesn't work. But then lowering the age limit to 55, are you kidding me? We have been talking for decades about how Medicare is about to implode.
Right.
This is just going to make it happen faster. And again, then you put more reliance on the government. So I believe this is firmly a deflection of, hey, guys, we're about to implode the whole country, let alone the party.
Yeah, I agree. Benji Irby, Dr. Anne Marie Ward, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, come